What's up guys, welcome back to another 3000GT VR4 video. I just picked up the VR4 axles. We are going to be finishing up the installation of the extended oil pan for the 3000GT. So if you guys haven't seen the first video where we take everything apart, make sure you check that out first before you continue on to this one. And this is technically the part 2 where I'm going to show you how to put everything back together and hopefully be able to take the VR4 back home to be able to install the combat wing, start taking it out to meets, start taking it out to drives, and it's just been at the shop for too long, and I'm just ready to take it back home. So let's go back to the shop, get this thing going, and let's see how it turns out. Alright, so we're back with the VR4 over at Mace Performance. As you guys can see, everything is pretty much disassembled from the last episode. Basically, the sequence of order of how we're going to do things is scrape everything or the RTV off of the oil pan area, and of course areas like the oil return lines with the gaskets and stuff like that. I'm also going to be filming, excuse the long hair, I'm growing it out, the GoPro on the headband. So I got this little thing here, and hopefully I'm able to kind of just record and talk to you guys while I'm doing this. Alright, you guys let me know how this looks, or if you guys like it. Aaron is suggesting for you guys to basically move the oil return lines out of the way, because once we put the pan, they tend to get in the way. There you go. Alright, so I'm going ahead and finish sanding, cleaning, etc. The whole block surface on the bottom, as you guys can see.
That precision though.
Go ahead and start the bolts throughout the pan. Don't tighten them just yet because it could shift as you start putting bolts in. So we noticed that some of the holes weren't lining up as we started putting some of the bolts in, and once everything started going in, it started shifting back into its original place. So now we're going to focus on the return lines. You can go ahead and order these off STM like I said previously. These are all the same for my Evo, DSM, and 3000GT guys. The only difference is for my VR4 guys, we need two because we have two turbos versus the single turbo on the 4G63 on Eclipses and Evos. So as you guys can see, one side has some sort of like rubber piece on it. You're gonna have the return line, and then this side of the gasket is gonna touch the pan. Now we're gonna go ahead and match everything else and start cleaning everything with that machine over there. So I do want to start off with the parts that are already off the car, such as the cross members, the transfer case. I'll put you guys on the GoPro one more time, and let's clean these parts up. Oh yeah, part number. I mean, some cars rock the fish. I feel like Evos rock the fishbowl look.
But I just need to make a space for it.
Alright, so this is pretty much night and day difference. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect, but you could even see the old 90s Mitsubishi part numbers on there. The transfer case is actually two colors, so as you guys can see, it's silver and black. If you're super OCD about having a clean car, you can literally sit here for days and just start cleaning every little bolt and nut on here. I at least want to go ahead and clean the control arms and the back of the suspension, because all the axle grease over time has accumulated and caused dirt everywhere. So towards the middle we're fine. Definitely clean the transmission bell housing on this side, and of course the lower control arm and suspension and lower part of the coilover over here, just to have just the lower end of the car just look a lot cleaner and just make it easier to work with in the future. At least it's not as slimy as it was at one point, and it's actually workable. I got most of the axle grease off. Unfortunately, I can't sit here all day and remove every single inch of dirt. I just try to get like a quick pass and just wipe off as much axle grease off as possible, just to make the car a lot easier to work with now and in the future. So of course, if you guys want to do this and take your time, unfortunately I'm trying to have this car out and done by today. So we're gonna go ahead, move on to the installation of probably the driver's side axle first, because it's a longer one, and then from there we'll go ahead and move on to the next step. Alright, so axle on the driver's side goes in right there. You're gonna have the bracket that you're gonna have to bolt back up to the block right there, and then of course you're gonna have to feed it through here to be able to put the axle nut on. So it's a little bit tricky. Probably would have been smart to replace the axle seals to avoid any leakage, but for now I'm gonna focus on the 2 bolts to bolt the axle to the block. Axle and bracket are on. Slapping on the axle nut real quick.
I've been Asian. About this, Gary. You wrote that on today? You said what you said. But you wrote that on today. Yeah, that was good. I'm just saying it was a slow day.
Alright, so I went ahead and put on the passenger side axle and driver's side axle. Like I previously mentioned, you are going to have this very specific banjo bolt right here that you had to remove on this side to be able to remove the bracket for the driver's side axle. So I'm going to go ahead and install it. It's literally right above it right here, and there might be another bolt up top with a little clip holding this line. So install this back on and we should be ready for the next step. Alright, up next we're going to focus on the suspension components. This goes up, this piece here goes here, this little guy here goes right here, so both sides. This is honestly quite labor intensive and it's pretty tedious, but taking me all day. We got both the control arms on completely. I'm going to go ahead and focus on putting the lower timing cover on the driver's side real quick, and then from there we'll focus on the starter plates and the starter right here by the transmission, which by the way, I just looked inside the bell housing and I just realized that this car actually came with an aftermarket clutch. So it's blue, the pressure plate is blue. I'm not sure on what brand it is. In case you guys know, you guys let me know. I'm assuming eBay, but I don't know if you guys can see in there, but the pressure plate is blue, so I know that's not OEM. For the starter bracket, it was slightly confusing. It goes like this, right in here, and then this attaches to the bell housing of the transmission right there. Alright, so starter plate is on. A starter goes in right afterwards. You have 2 14s coming from the other side. Don't forget your ground wire that goes on the bottom bolt here. Then you have, of course, your power wire right here and this little clip that connects everything and gives it power. We have the OEM transfer case that we have to go ahead and put on. It's just a couple bolts, so 1 2 3 4 5 total bolts. The smaller ones are going to be going in the back section and the longer ones are going to be going over here. And I also went ahead and loosened up the fill plug because this one is pretty bad. Okay, so I managed to put the transfer case on with all the bolts bolted down fully, we are ready to start on the downpipe install, and then from there we can focus on the 2 remaining cross members, and we should be able to do the first startup on the VR4 right after we add some oil and check for any oil leaks and just see how the car runs as of right now, and hopefully take it home super soon. So I'm pretty high, starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Let's just finish this off real quick and let's start this thing up. Looks like it's in because of the oil pan. I just want to finish. I'm currently running into fitment issues with this stock cross member. As soon as I lay it here to the bolts on, it's hitting the oil pan right around there. So if I make it fit, it ends up not lining up. So I'm not sure if I could run without it, but even then this shouldn't really be happening. It's a bit of a concern. Either way, I'm pretty much finishing up installing this side, put the wheels on, put some oil in the car, just start it up. Honestly, I'm just over today. It's been a very long day and this is very tedious work. It's not easy, so not really much I can do besides maybe try cutting it, but I don't really think that should even be a thing. This thing's giving me a bit of an issue as well. The bolts are cross-threading, and unfortunately it's getting pretty dark and Aaron has to close shop, so I won't be giving you guys a cold start, unfortunately. So I'm coming back in 2 more days, then we're gonna go ahead and tidy everything up and then start the car and then hopefully drive it home. At least maintenance wise, new oil pan, new oil, new transfer case oil, new return line gaskets, new rebooted axles. So overall it's a good thing that we did this, but at the same time we ran into technical difficulties towards the very end of the process and we are running out of time as we have to go. So I owe you guys a video. Hopefully the next one we're able to start it up, finish everything up, drive it home, and get ready for the combat wing install. So any suggestions, write down in the comments. Again, I'm not perfect, I'm not a mechanic, I'm trying my best. And yeah, so make sure you like, comment, subscribe. See you in the next one.